vertex form? When we talk about a quadratic, that makes what shape? No. A quadratic makes a U. It's a parabola. Right? Okay. So let's actually start it this way. There's a couple of things. When we have a quadratic, it makes a parabola. And this point at the bottom is called the vertex. From vertex form, that vertex is the value hk. Down the middle of this wonderful parabola is a vertical line. That vertical line is what we call the axis of symmetry. And that axis of symmetry is always x equals the h value. Okay? Still doing all right. If this parabola opens up, like this one does, right? Opens up, this is called a minimum. So if it opens up, I'm going to put it over here. This is a minimum because the minimum value is at the bottom. There's a very smallest value it can be. Then it goes up from there. If it opens down, this type of parabola is called a maximum, because it has an absolute maximum value and everything is smaller from there. Okay? Huh? Oh, if we get to that. We won't get to it till like May, but I'm thinking we probably won't get that far because we are so far behind already, so we'll just see. But yeah, it is possible to open up from the side, yes. But that's not till May. Okay? All right, so here is vertex form. In vertex form, it is always in the form y equals a x minus h squared plus k. Always sitting in that form. And in that form, you can see that your vertex is hk. In that form, you can also see your axis of symmetry is x equals the h value. Now, we also talked about translations from this form. We've actually already talked about some of this stuff this year. This a in front, remember, is a stretch or compress. If that a is negative, it is a flip, right? So if a is less than 0, it's a flip. This h in here tells us we're going either right or left. Remember that? And this k on the end tells us we're doing what? Up or down, exactly. Okay? So there's lots of stuff we know just from this vertex form. All right, so that being said, here's example number 1. I want you to state the vertex, the axis of symmetry, whether it is a max or a min, and then describe the transformation. All right. That's a lot of stuff all at once. Okay? We have y equals 2 times x minus 4 squared plus 5. We're going to start with the vertex. Your vertex in this form is the H and the K. So your vertex is 4, 5. Any question where I got 4 and 5? Okay. Your axis of symmetry is always x equals whatever this H value is, so 4. If our A value, and remember this is A right here in front, if A is positive, well, it is a stretch, and we're going to get to that in a minute. We're on the max and min. If A is positive, since A is greater than 0, this is a minimum. And now we're going to describe the transformation. So, as you said, it is a stretch of what, Maya? Stretch of 2. This x minus 4 tells us we're going right or left? Right 4. And plus 5 at the end? Up 5. Very good. Again, remember, you can take what's inside here and set equal to 0 and solve it, and I'll tell you, right? Let's do another one. Yep, opposite. Okay, let's do another one. Same exact stuff I want to know. So example number 2. I want the vertex, the axis of symmetry, whether it is a max or a min, and of course the transformation. So we have y equals negative 5 x minus 2 squared plus 1. So our vertex is, again, remember the H and the K. So our vertex is the point 2, 1. The axis of symmetry is always x equals the H value, which is what? 2. Very good. 2. Because in this one, the A value is negative, since A is less than 0, this is a maximum. And now we just got to describe the transformation. So, because it's negative, this is a flip. Stretch. 5. Right. 2. And up 1. Questions on any of that stuff? You can get all that just looking at the equation. Questions at all? Do we need to do another one? It's going to be on your exam next week, so I want to make sure. We're good. We don't need to do another example from here. Okay. All right. The next thing I want to talk about is graphing. From Vertex Form. Step 1, you're going to plot the vertex. Step 2, make dash line for the axis of symmetry. Step 3, pick 2 points to the right or left of the axis of symmetry. And then step 4, reflect. And step 5, connect. Now, it's not as bad as it sounds. All right? So we're going to start off with a real easy one. Okay? Real easy one. So here is example number 3. I want you to state the vertex and axis of symmetry, then graph. I have y equals x minus 1 plus 2. Oh, sorry, 1 square. I forgot my squared here. Sorry, guys. X minus 1 plus 2. So first thing I need to know is my vertex. Is that where? 1, 2. Very good. 1, 2. Nice job. My axis of symmetry is going to be at x equals 1. So let's start by graphing those couple things. So I'm going to plot the point 1, 2. Here's that. Next, I put a dashed line for the axis of symmetry at x equals negative, or x equals 1. So I'm just going to put a dashed line right through the middle of this. Step 3 says to pick 2 points to the right or left. When I say to the right or left, if I go to the right, I'm going to pick 2 and 3. If I go to the left, I'm going to put 0 and negative 1. It's up to you which ones you want to pick. I'm going to put them in a table. So if I pick to the right, 2 and 3, I'm going to plug those into my equation at the top. Okay? So I'm plugging 2 in. So I have 2 minus 1 squared plus 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. Squared is still 1. Plus 2 is 3. So I'm going to plot the point 2, 3. Over 2, up 3. Then I'm going to plug in 3 for x. So 3 minus 1 squared plus 2. 3 minus 1 is 2. Squared is 4. Plus 2 is 6. So I'm going to go over 3, right, and up to 6. So you guys okay with what I just did? Okay. Next step says to reflect. So each of those 2 points I plotted, I got to reflect over my line. So if I were to fold on my line of symmetry, this point would reflect to here, and this point would reflect to here. Then I connect. So I just connect my dots. Oops, and hopefully your drawing is better than mine is. I need input before I keep going. Easy peasy? We're good? Okay, so let me try one more of these. And 2 more examples and I'm done. How's that sound? Okay, so I'm on example number 4. Example 4, same thing. I want you to state the vertex, axis of symmetry, and then graph. And let's go with y equals negative 2 times x plus 4 squared plus 1. So I'm making this a little bit tougher. All right, so first thing we need is the vertex. What is my vertex for this parabola? Very good. Nice job. Negative 4, 1. That also means I have an axis of symmetry. Whoops. Gosh darn it. At x equals negative 4. All right, so let's begin with my graph. My vertex is negative 4 and up 1. I have an axis of symmetry that goes right through here. I'm going to make myself a little table, and I'm going to pick 2 points to the right of that axis of symmetry, or to the left. To the right, the next 2 points are what 2 numbers? Very good. -3 and -2. I now plug those into my original equation. So I have -2 times -3 plus 4 squared plus 1. So if I put a -3 in here, -3 plus 4 is 1. 1 squared is still 1. Times -2 is -2. Plus 1 is -1. So the first point I have is at -3, -1. Right here. Now I'm going to plug in -2. So I have -2 times -2 plus 4 squared plus 1. So -2 plus 4 is 2. 2 squared is 4. 4 times -2 is -8. Plus 1 is -7. All right, so at -2, I'm going down to -7. Now what do I have to do? Reflect. Very good. So this one reflects across my line to here, and this one reflects across my line to here. And then we connect. Questions? No questions. Okay. The last thing I need to talk about are domain and range. I know. It never goes away. All right. So domain. Domain for all parabola is all the same. It is a give me point question. If I ask for the domain for a parabola, it is always -infinity to +infinity because it is the x values. The x values exist everywhere for a parabola, right? If you think about our lines, they're forever going in both directions, okay? The range, however, can be 2 things. The range, if it is a minimum, which means that it is opening up, right? That's because A was greater than 0 or positive. If it is opening up, your range goes from your k value to infinity. If it is a maximum, or your parabola is opening down because A is negative, then it goes from -infinity to k with a bracket. All right? So those are your possibilities. So the very last 4 problems on your worksheet, it's going to ask you to graph, which we've already done. State the domain and range. Okay? So here's our last example. What number am I on? 4, 5? 5? Okay. Example number 5. All right, graph. And states. Domain and range. All right, and let's start off with y equals x plus 1 squared minus 2. So Devin, where's our vertex? Does anybody want to help Devin out? Where's our vertex? Good. -1, -2. So here's our vertex right here. All right. Then, our axis of symmetry, of course, is that line that goes directly through the vertex, right? Graphing it, we're going to pick 2 points to the right. So from the -1, the next point to the right is 0. And the next point after that is positive 1. Let's plug those in. If I plug 0 in, I get 1 squared is 1, minus 2 is negative 1. So 0, negative 1. And at 1, if I plug 1 in, 1 plus 1 is 2. Squared is 4. Minus 2 is 2. And then, of course, I have to reflect these points. All right, so I've graphed it. And hopefully your graph looks better than mine does. All right, so the only thing left is I need domain and range. Domain. Every single solitary time your domain is going to look like, yeah, negative infinity to positive infinity, because it covers all x's side to side. There is no x that cannot work. Your range. In this one, you'll notice it is a minimum. So from the bottom, the first point you come to is what k value? K value. The bottom. Negative 2, right? This is hk. So negative 2. So when you write the range, it goes from negative 2 with a bracket to infinity, because it goes up forever. All right? Okay. I want to get you guys this worksheet so you can try it. You have 10 minutes in here. Actually, almost 15. More like 14. Okay? So that you can do some of them in here. I want to tell you, the domain and range have to be written in that form. If you go to another site, another person, another individual, they may write it differently and not in interval notation. I will mark it wrong.